Good afternoon. In today's class, we will be seeing the Internet Control Protocols. In the previous lectures, we have already seen about the Internet Protocol, which is IPv4 and IPv6. Now, in today's class, we will be seeing the Internet Control Protocols, which are ARP, RARP, and BOOTP and DHCP. Now, basically, when we discussed the internet protocols, that is this IPv4 and IPv6 as the main protocols of the network layer. Now, why were they designed? They were designed for the best effort delivery, basically to deliver the data from one network to another network in a better manner. These protocols were designed, but these protocols lack some features which are like flow control and error control. Now, since they lack some features and we are using the protocols already, but we need other protocols, which are these protocols, internet control protocols. So it is a host to host protocol using logical addressing. So to have some more requirements, we have created these internet control protocols. Now, basically, whenever we are transferring data or packets from one network to another network, we will have two kinds of addresses. So what are the two kinds of address? One is the physical address and the other is the logical address. What is the physical address? Physical address is basically your MAC address, while the logical address is your IP address. So whenever we are talking about this, IP packets use logical addressing, and these packets, however, need to encapsulate in a frame which needs physical addressing. We sometimes need the conversion from physical address to these packets needs to be encapsulated in a frame which needs physical address, and whenever we are doing the mapping from logical address to physical address, then we need this protocol, which is the address resolution protocol. Address resolution protocol, this ARP, is the address resolution protocol which maps from logical address to physical address, while in the reverse mapping case, so here RARP, we perform reverse mapping from physical to logical. So this will be from physical to logical, and this is reverse address resolution protocol. Okay, so first we will see these two, ARP and RARP. Then we will later on see the next protocols, BOOTP and DHCP. So the lack of flow control and error control in the internet protocols resulted in this other protocols also. Also, IP was originally designed for unicast delivery, that is from one source to one destination. But since our internet has evolved, we need multicast delivery. What is multicast delivery? One source to many destinations. So that is the purpose of this internet control protocol. So first and foremost, we will see the address mapping. Now, the delivery of a packet to a host or a router requires two levels of addressing. One is the logical addressing, which is the IP address, and the other is the physical addressing, which is the MAC address. Now, we need to be able to map a logical address to its corresponding address, corresponding physical address, and vice versa. So this can be done by using either static or dynamic mapping. Now, whenever we are mapping to a logical, whenever we are mapping from logical to physical address, this is your ARP. So basically, whenever an internet is made up of a combination of physical networks connected by internetworking devices such as routers. A packet starting from a source host may pass through several different physical networks before reaching the final destination. So suppose this is your network A and this is your network B, and in between this networks A and B are connected by different routers, which is R1, R2, R3, R4, then R5 is here, then it is connected to the network B. So whenever we are transferring packets from one network to another, these are connected by the internetworking devices. So router is basically an internetworking device, or a device which routes the packet or provides routing information for the packet from one network to another network. Now in this case, these routers which work on the network layer and also the data link layer, these routers provide a routing table. So through that, it is decided. We will see the routing tables in the next topic. For now, we have to understand that these routers will have all the information, that is the different addresses. Now, a packet starting from a source host may pass through several different physical networks before reaching the final destination host. The host and the router. So this A is your host and B is the destination. The host and the destination along with the routers are recognized at the network level by the logical address. That is, at the network level, we are using the concept of logical addressing, which is the IP address. Okay. However, packets pass through physical networks. So that is these R1, R2, R3 are basically physical devices which are present. Okay. At the physical level, the host and the routers are recognized by their physical address. So when the devices are passing through the physical layer, that is when you pass a bit by bit, that is which we have seen in the physical layer, then in that case, we will be using the physical address. Now, what is this physical address? Physical address is basically your local address. So it is basically in the local network, and it must be unique, but not necessarily unique universally. That is, in a network, in network A, we may have the same physical address as in network B. That is, it must be unique in the network, the physical address. Now, this physical address is basically a 48-bit MAC address. This 48-bit MAC address is actually in the Ethernet protocol, which is in your network interface card, NIC card or NI card, network interface card, which is installed in the host or the router. So if it is in your system or in the router, this 48-bit MAC address is present, which is the local address or the physical address. The physical address and the logical address are two different things. So you know that physical address is a 48-bit MAC address, and the logical address is basically depending on your IP protocol. So if it is IPv4, we have 32 bits. If it is IPv6, we have 128 bits. So this physical address and logical address are two different identifiers, and we need both because the physical network such as Ethernet can have two different protocols at the network layer, and the network layer will have another protocol which it uses. So this means that the delivery of a packet, so suppose if you're using this A as your host and B as the destination, then for the addressing, we need two levels of addressing. One is the logical addressing and the other is the physical addressing. Now, we need to be able to map, so the system at any given time when it is connected to the internet will have two addresses. So we need to be able to map this logical address to the physical address. Okay. So in this case, what will be done? We will have two types of mapping. One is the static mapping and the other is the dynamic mapping. Now, what is the static mapping? Static mapping is basically already the system will create a table where it will have a column for logical address and the physical address. For a given logical address, what is the physical address will be mentioned already. So this involves the creation of, so we are talking about two types of mapping. One is the static mapping and the other is the dynamic mapping. So in the case of static mapping, it involves the creation of a table that associates a logical address with a physical address, and this table where it is stored, it is stored in each machine in the network. So it will be stored in this network, in the router, in every router, this table will be stored. And each machine that knows the IP address of another machine, but not its physical address, can look in this table. But what is the problem with this kind of mapping, which is the static mapping, is a machine can change its network interface card, that is, it can change its NIC, resulting in a new physical address. So if it is changing the NIC, it will get a new MAC address, right? And in some LANs, the physical address changes every time the computer is turned on. In some earlier systems, this was the case, that the physical address used to change every time. And a mobile computer can move from, so suppose now if you're using a mobile, suppose earlier it is in this Wi-Fi network, and again it is moving to some other network, and basically it is resulting in a change in the physical address. These used to happen earlier, but now what we are using, the MAC address remain constant. So now instead of this, we are using the following table, which is the dynamic mapping. So in the case of dynamic mapping, each time a machine knows one of the two addresses, it uses a protocol. So this protocol ARP is basically for dynamic mapping. Okay. So this ARP is used for creating a dynamic mapping. Now, what is this ARP? Basically, it is mapping logical to physical address. Anytime a host or a router has an IP datagram, that is a packet to send from another host to a different router, it has the logical address. So it will have the logical address of the destination. Logical is basically an IP address. Now, is obtained from, where is it obtained from? It is obtained from the DNS, domain name server. So suppose if we want to open www.google.com, we will know this name. What it will do, it will give us the IP address of this domain, right? We have studied it in the IPv4 protocol. So if we are typing a name, it will give us the IP address by using this concept DNS, domain name server. Okay. Now, if the sender is the host and it is found in the routing table, that is, if this is the logical address, and for this logical address, it will check whether it has the physical address. If it is there, then it is okay. We are using the concept of static mapping. But suppose if it is not there and it needs to pass through the physical network, suppose if the physical address is not there and we need to use the physical network, this means that the sender needs the physical address of the receiver. Okay. So if the sender needs the physical address of the receiver and it is not present in the table, what will happen? The host or the router will send a query through an ARP query packet. So ARP query packet. Now, what is this packet? This packet is basically including the physical and the IP address of the sender and the IP address of the receiver. Okay. Because the sender does not know the physical address of the receiver, this is broadcasted. Okay. So the system A is sending a request to all the systems on the network, that is looking for physical address of a node with IP address, this one, 141.23.56.23. What is this? This is a ARP query packet. What does this ARP query packet contain? It contains the logical address and the physical address of the sender, that is the physical, logical of the sender and the logical address of the receiver. Now, what is the reply that we want back? We want the physical address of the receiver. This is the question that it is asking. Who is asking that? System A is asking what is the physical address for the logical address given over here. Now, this is called a ARP query packet, and this packet is broadcasted because it will need every system to check whether it is the logical address. This logical address belongs to this system or this system or this system. So in this way, it will broadcast. Broadcast means one source and many destinations. Now, what will happen? Every host or router on the network receives and processes this ARP query packet. So it will check it will receive this request and it will process this request, and it will check whether this logical address belongs to the system or not. Now, whichever system, that is the intended recipient, recognizes its IP address, so whichever system has this IP address, what it will do, it will send back a reply. So it will send, basically this is a ARP response packet. What is it basically? This response packet is for if it contains the physical address of your recipient. Whoever logical address is the following, it will send its physical address, that is the MAC address, and this packet is directly sent to your sender. Okay, so it is directly, this packet is not broadcasted. Why is it not broadcasted? Because the reply was wanted by only system A, not by all the other systems. Okay, so this packet is unicasted directly to the inquirer or the person asking the question by using the physical address received in the packet. Okay, now, so this, in this figure we will just understand this clearly. So here, first and foremost, we see that the system on the left, which is the system A, has a packet that needs to be delivered to another system B. What is the IP address? 141.23.56.23. The system A needs to pass the packet to the data link layer. Okay, it will pass the packet to the data link layer, but it does not know the physical address. What it will do, it is sending this request, that is the ARP query packet, and it is broadcasting to ask for the physical address, looking for the physical address. Now, in the next figure, if you see over here, this ARP reply is unicasted. That is, the packet is received by every system on the network, but only this system will answer it. That is, it will send a reply packet that includes its physical address. Now, system A can send all the packets for this destination, system B, by using the physical address it has received. Okay, so this is the example for address resolution protocol. Now, whenever you get this kind of question, you have to mention in the briefly what is the address resolution protocol. Then you can move forward by drawing this diagram. Now, what is the ARP? ARP can be useful if the ARP reply is cached. That is, it is kept in a cache memory for some time. Basically, whenever you are using ARP is inefficient if system A needs to broadcast an ARP request for each IP packet. So suppose your system A, let's go back to the diagram. If system A has 32 packets to send to system B. Now for each packet, it won't, if it is sending this ARP query request or query, then what will happen? For 32 times it has to check what is the address of system B, what is the address of system B. In this case, it is not very efficient. So what it needs to do is, it should get the reply one time and it should keep it in a cache memory for a while. Because whenever you are sending some number of packets, you will need the address, physical address of the another system for some time. So a system normally sends several packets to the destination, and whenever you are getting a system that receives an ARP reply, stores the mapping in the cache memory and keeps it for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so before sending an ARP request, the system first checks its cache to see whether it can find the mapping. So basically, before sending the ARP request only, it should check the cache memory. What will it check in the cache memory? Whether I broadcasted this request already and whether I have the physical address for the following logical address. So now, what is this ARP packet? So whenever this ARP query packet and the response packet is being back and to and fro from the sender and the receiver, it is sent in this way. That is, we have a format for the same. The fields are as follows. So first is the hardware type. What is it? It is of 16 bits and it defines the type of the network on which ARP is running. So each LAN is assigned an integer based on its type. For example, if you're using Ethernet, it is given the number 1. Okay, so if it is given type 1, which means we are using Ethernet. So ARP can be used on any physical network. Now, what the next field is protocol type. So it is also 16 bits if you look over here, and it defines the value of the protocol. So suppose if we are using IPv4, that means the protocol is 0800. Okay, so ARP can be used with any high level protocols also. Next is the hardware length. What is the hardware length? Basically, it is the length of the physical address in bytes. So hardware length is length of the physical address in bytes. For Ethernet, the value will be 6. And the protocol length is whatever protocol we are using. If we are using IPv4, the protocol length will be 4. Then we have the operation. This is also a 16-bit field, and it will have two kinds of operation. One is the request operation, the other is the reply operation. Suppose if we are using the request operation, it will have the value 1. If we are using the reply operation, that is, if it is a request packet, it will use 1 over here. If it is a reply packet, it will use 2 over here. So basically, it will be in this way: 0, 0, 0s, and 1 at the end. We are writing it in bits. Now the next is the sender hardware address. Now what is this hardware address? Hardware address is basically a physical address. So this is a variable length field defining the physical address. What is the size? It is of 32 bits. Now we have the sender protocol address. This is the logical or the IP address, and it is also 4 bytes for 32 bits. It is depending on the IP protocol. So if we are using IPv6, this packet length will change. Now we have the target hardware address. Target hardware address is also the hardware, means basically we are talking about the physical address. For an ARP request message, what will happen? This field is all zeros because the sender does not know the physical address. So in the case of request, what are we requesting? We are requesting the physical address. We know the logical, we are requesting the physical. So in that case, what will happen? It will be all zeros. All the 32 bits will be 0. In the case of target protocol address, it will have the logical address. So we will send this logical address and we are requesting for this physical address. Okay, so this is the ARP address resolution packet format.